Never did. God does. I don't know a thing about anybody. Don't know how things are supposed to go. When Cody began to tell this story about this little boy running back in there to use the bathroom, hey man, it brought a lot to my mind. You see, you ain't seen nothing yet. I thought about whenever he started talking, Jeff, I thought about when God began to bring me to places and he would tell me that there'd be somebody there that needed the Lord. Now, I want you to listen real close tonight, God being my helper. It ain't a coincidence that you're here tonight. It's not a coincidence that you're sitting in Pleasant Chapel Church tonight. This is not a coincidence. I believe God had this plan from the very beginning. I believe that with all my heart. Don't worry about that baby crying, Mama. She'll be over in a minute. But I want to tell you right now, listen to me tonight. I want you to listen real close. The devil's got his way of fighting, but God's got his way of doing his job. Amen. The Bible said that God can work when no man can hinder. Amen. Now listen, and God can hinder and no man can work. God can do it all, but I want you to listen. These two verses of Scripture come to my mind. Then I want to tell you what God has done in my life. Okay? Now the Bible said, amen, it's not the will of the Lord that any should perish. He told them over there, he said, God's not slack concerning His promises as some men count slackness, but His long-suffering to usward. Not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. If it hadn't been for the long-suffering of God, the Bible said, amen, that the long-suffering of God, it is salvation. Come on now, listen to what God said. And then He goes on to say this. He told them in the Word of God, He said, no man can come unto the Son except the Father which sent Him draw Him. Amen? Somewhere in life, now the Bible said that ye are a city that sit up on a hill. Amen. A light. A city that set up on a hill that cannot be hid. The Bible said this is condemnation, that light has come into the world. Men love darkness rather than light, for their deeds were evil. Now, I mentioned to Mitchell, I wonder if our family will say there was a man. Hey man, I wonder if my grandbabies will say, my papa was a man of God. I wonder if my children will tell the stories of what all went on around our farm and in our barn, amen. I wonder if they'll tell how that the move of faith built a barn that people's been saved in, Sister Skippy. I wander down through time and listen to what I've got to say tonight. Amen. There's been a many a time God told me to go into a place that somebody needed me. I'll never forget out there at Larry's. Amen. As a young preacher just starting out and God spoke to my heart. He said, you go in here this morning, somebody needs to pray. And I thought, how am I going to get their attention? How am I going to do this? And I get excited when I don't know hardly what to do. So I just busted through the door and I screamed as loud as I could. I said, I come to pray with somebody. God sent me to pray with somebody. And everybody in that builder's mart that morning run to the back aisle and hid in the back aisle. Hey, you think I'm crazy. They people looking around, they didn't know what I'd come for. But all I was doing is trying to be obedient to the will of God. I was looking for somebody that needed Jesus. Amen. Praise God. You better look out about the fly. Woo! I was searching down the aisles, Keith, and there's all huddled up in the back aisle. Scared people to death. But I'll never forget it. There was an old man come out of the back aisle and come toward me, Dean. And you know what he said? He said, it's me, son. Give his life to Jesus right there in the builder's mart. Hey man, you say, preacher, it don't happen. Yes, it did. I'm a witness to it. Hey man, and you know what? Years later, 20 years later, there's a young man come up to me and he said, do you remember when you busted into the builder's mart? I said, yes, I do. I was scared to death. He said, so was I. He said, I was the guy that was hiding in the back row. But he said, I know God sent you. He said, you know how I know? He said, I worked for that old man that got saved that morning. He My God, about the fly.
Bless him, Lord.
My life has been time after time after time after time God sending me places. I started to stay at home tonight.
Bless him, Lord.
You see, I'm honest. My back's out again. I told Tony, I said, you reckon anybody will miss us? We'll stay at home. God said, you better get ready. And then you messaged me, and I thought, I ain't going to miss an opportunity to see this sister. Everything fell in order. Did you know that? Everything. So I want you to listen. This testimony is for somebody.
Yeah,
the Bible said that the rich man, when he died in hell, he lifted his eyes up and he prayed for Abraham to send, amen, Lazarus back to his family, that he would testify to his brothers that they wouldn't come to that place. Amen. The testimony is something that God has done for you. Amen. I'm going to testify tonight, and then you decide whether you want what I've got or not. Yeah. Are you listening to me? Now, praise God, I'm about to fly. Hallelujah. Amen. We was preaching in, amen, Brother Jerry's, amen, wife's grandma's yard one night. Amen. God sent us out a revival meeting in this church, and I told Lester to get somebody to fill in. He's sending me somewhere else. I didn't know it was Jerry's in-laws, amen. We got out there, he's having a birthday party day. God began to preach us in the yard out there at Skippy. There's an older fella going to have a surgery on his heart the next day. Amen. And you know what? He was scared because he wasn't ready to meet the Lord. God put a preacher right where he could help him. Amen. Not that I'm anything, but I do know that I love the Lord and God uses me. Can I get an amen? I preached a message that man give his life to a man called Jesus.
Yeah.
While we were praying, God began to deal with my heart, and He told me to take my horse on Sunday morning and go to, amen, Comer's Rock, Virginia. And this is what He told me. And I began to tell him, you remember that, Jeff? I got witnesses in this church that what I'm telling you is true. Amen. Come on. Not that you ought to believe me, I ain't going to lie to you, but I got witnesses that every word is true, sister. And I began to tell him, Dean, you got to pray for me. God's sending me to Comer's Rock, Virginia. And I've been talked about like a dog. It don't make no difference. But anyway, I began to tell him that God said that there'd be somebody at Comer's Rock, Virginia, riding a black horse that needed a preacher to pray with him. People say, I said, you're crazy. Let me tell you something. I began to tell the people to pray for me. Amen. I lit out early Sunday morning, and when I went through Lansing, me and my oldest daughter and the kids is in the truck, had their horses loaded up. When I got down at Lansing, down there at the car wash at Lansing, Mike, amen, there set a convoy of horse trailers, amen, and trucks. Right there sits a young man that went with me. Are you listening? Praise God, I'm telling the truth, Jeff. Amen, we got down to the mouth of Wilson, and they was giving out tornadoes for that community. Amen, it was dark as ashes. The clouds had rolled up, the storm rolling in that valley. They'd give out tornadoes all day for that place. We just went on. Got over there, Dean Richardson, these horse trailers are sitting everywhere and not a person to be found. We got out, saddled our horses up, me knowing why God sent me. And then we stood there for probably 30 minutes or longer and talked with Jeff Ashley. Amen. And I keep telling Jeff, amen, I don't know if he believed what I was telling him, but I believe he went to see if I was crazy. Can I get it? Come on now. Sometimes I like to just go and see people talking. Amen. Knows what they're talking about. But anyway, we went over there and we just stood there for, I don't know, 30 minutes or longer. Amen. And Kayla looked at me, Penny. Now she's like me. She's pretty impatient. When she gets one saddle, she wants to be a ride. Amen. And she looked at me and she said, what are you going to do, Dad? I said, I guess we're going to ride in a tornado till we find somebody riding a black horse. Can I get an amen? And about that time, are you listening to me? Amen. About that time, there was a big old truck and a trailer pulled in. He come right around behind us and parked. The second horse on this thing. Woo! My God, I walked down we started, my God, about to fly. We started down the gravel driveway. Are you listening? Now don't tell me God ain't working. Amen. Don't tell me God ain't ascending people. Don't tell me it's a coincidence that you're here tonight. Somebody needs to hear what I got to say. Here we went. I swallowed hard and started toward the horse trailer. Looked around and the whole bunch is behind me. Looked like a mafia. Coming right down through, they walking right along with me. We was going right on, and there's a young woman saddling up a horse, and I'll never forget the look on her face. Have you ever walked up to a stranger and told them that God sent you somewhere? They looked at you like you got two heads. They don't know whether you were supposed to be in a cuckoo house or what. They think you're mental. Amen. But I told this young woman, I said, honey, you don't know me. I don't know you. But I was in a yard preaching last night, and God told me to come to this place this morning, that there'd be somebody on a black horse that would need a preacher to pray. And just as I got out of my mouth, Dean Richards said, the door of the horse trailer slammed, and there's an elderly man coming to me with his hands held out, and the tears are running off his face, and he was saying, it's me! It's me! Amen! We got down that parking lot and we began to pray to this man. I know, Tip, people think your uncle's crazy. That's fine. Sometimes I ain't too sure. But praise God as we began to pray. Amen. There was two girls on the black horses. They all come and got down on the ground and prayed. Are you listening? They wouldn't even ride with everybody else. They had to go with us, didn't they, Jeff? We went ahead and rode in a thunderstorm. We all got wet, but he was happy, I'm telling you. You know what? A storm don't bother you when you get right with God. Amen. You ain't afraid of getting struck by lightning because God's taught it. Are you listening to me? But whoo, my God, I'm about to fly.
Bless you, man.
About a month later, this young lady calls me on Sunday morning and she said, I don't know how you knew to be in that parking lot. I said, God sent me. She said, me and my mom had prayed for my sister for years and years. Said wouldn't even acknowledge going to church. Are you listening to me? Now you think I'm crazy. I ain't done yet. I got more witnesses in this church. I ain't done yet. I want you to listen to what God's done, what I've witnessed, not what I've done. I've been a witness to the power of God. You didn't do nothing. You know what He used you for? You know what you are now? A bona fide witness to the power of God. Amen. Can I get an amen? You can't deny it now. You've seen God work. It ain't nothing that I've done. It's what God has let me see. Amen. She said, since that morning, my sister picks my mama up and goes to church. Never have to ask her again. You know why? Because I believe she gave her life to the Lord. I mean, I grabbed a parking lot. Hey, time and time and time again. That old white horse I used to have, Jeff, brother was talking about, amen, seeing God move. Amen. Hey, listen, there's a woman over in Mountain City, Tennessee. She said, do you know my brother? And I said, who's your brother? And she named him my name, and I said, I don't know that name. She said, he knows you. She said, did you ever in life own a white horse? I said, I sure did. I preached for years on that old white horse. He said that he was over in Mount Rogers in the mountain trying to get away from the conviction power of God. Said he had him a saddlebag full of beer and liquor, and said he was back there in the mountain where he thought nobody could find him. And he said he looked down the trail, and he said, here come an old fella singing a hymn, riding an old white walking horse. Amen, and praise God. Let me tell you something. Amen, and said he rode up to him and told him God sent him to find him. Amen, when he began to talk to him, I remember him well. I didn't know what his name was, but I'll never forget the look on his face when God sent a preacher in the mountain to get him. Can I get an amen? Amen. Now let me tell you something. God sent me a horse that opens doors, numerous doors, that I could witness and talk and preach and tell people about Jesus. Sister, I talked to them in Israel, Germany. Amen, praise God, amen. They think I'm a nutcase. I told that one, I said, you're asking me to sell a gift from God. And they said, what are you talking about? I said, my God, let me tell you what God's done for me. Amen? Come on. They didn't get to buy no horse, but they got a load of Jesus. Amen? So this horse opened up a door for me to go to Jamestown, Tennessee to preach the gospel. Can I get an amen? Anybody know what I'm talking about? Amen? They ain't been having no preaching in Jamestown, Tennessee. So we loaded up a bunch of us. Mitchell's was sitting there, one of our deacons. He went with us, amen. Colby Miller, I wish Colby was here. I'd give him a hard time. Amen. We told him his tires wouldn't make it before we ever left home. But anyway, we started out in our penny. Every one of us truck tore up. Everybody. Colby started having flats. Yeah, 4 of them. We was going down the interstate. Turbo went out in that old red truck of mine. We pulled off the interstate. Everybody pulled off with us. Everybody but Jamie and BJ. BJ was pushing Jamie on, said we're going to go on. We just set up. They never made it. The radiator blew down. Amen. Come on. The only difference in their tire up and ours, we had company. Amen. We pulled into the Wendy's at a service station, throwed our awnings out, pulled our horses out, tied them up, gave them water. We were drinking Frosties, amen, waiting on a mechanic to come. Are you listening? People looked at us like we was crazy. We just set up camp. It ain't made no difference. What are you going to do? When God says stop, there's somebody there. So the only person we get to talk to, I'll never forget old James, the mechanic that come with the record. He opened the truck up the hood of my truck, and I started questioning him about if he was saved or not. He just tried to push it off, and I said, listen, God sent me out here to get somebody. I know this. And I said, you're the only one here. So I said, is it you? I said, if you're the one, I want to pray with you. You know what he said now, preacher? He said, I've been saved, but it's okay if you won't pray with me or not. I always need prayer. So I thought, my God, I missed you. We made it to Jamestown. Should have took us 5 hours, took us 12, 13 hours to get there. When we got there, Mitchell drug the wiring out of his trailer. No brakes, no nothing. Oh, Lord, we had a trip. So we was out there exercising them old horses. And there's a young lady come out beside the road and was watching us. She got to talking to us, Keith. I went to telling her what God had been doing. And I said, you wouldn't believe what a time we've had at coming out here. I said, I believe the devil's trying to kill us all. Everybody tore up. And I told her, I said, but God said for me to come out here to find somebody. Amen. That little old woman went to crying. She said that God showed you the couple that was camped below you. Amen. Praise God. I said, no ma'am. But all I know is I've come to get somebody. Jim, they got down in the edge of the yard. Go right with God. Are you listening to me? Praise God. God don't make mistakes. Amen. God sent a young couple from Kentucky that got right with God the next morning. So it's coincidence. Well, if it is, let me give you a load of this. God sent us to Jamestown again. I had my truck worked on for a month. I even put new injectors in it and everything else to make sure we was going to make it. We was going out the road, Keith, and his revival place and everything on the road. I thought, praise God, we're running with Jesus today. Amen. Got out there and there's a long plateau and no exits. Amen. Just a long pull before you get out yonder to Jamestown. I thought we're going to make it this time. Just as we turned up the hill, there went the turbo again. This time was a little different. There wasn't no question of where I was supposed to be. I just had preached a message the night before on grace. God funneled me down that exit. There was no place to go. It was just like a funnel. Went right into a little old lane. No place to go. Had to turn right, there wasn't no going left, wasn't nothing. I had to go right on around the road. Josh Jones was with right behind me, fell right in behind me, him and Stephanie and the kids. Got down there, you know, the only place it was in the whole community to pull off was a big old Baptist church, and the name on the side was Grace Baptist Church. We pulled in this parking lot just like we did out yonder, Christy. You know what we done? We jumped out, popped our awnings out, put us a table out. Melinda and Stephanie fixed us a bologna sandwich. I was on the phone calling, wreckers and everything else, and parts places and mechanics and all this stuff. Well, all at once there's a little car pulled up. Now mind you, we don't know anybody in Jamestown, Tennessee. There's a little old lady, about 70-some-year-old, and a little man. She gets out and she said, I live right there in that house. She said, I saw you pull into this parking lot. Are you listening to me? Now this is what she said. She said, I saw you pull in. She said, I used to have horses, and I had to get rid of all my horses, and I got a bunch of tack. She said, I thought you people might want to buy my tack. The more we talked, the more I figured out she didn't want to sell no tack. She needed to meet a man called Jesus. Amen. We began to talk, and she began to cry and tell us, hey man, I told her where we was going, and I was a preacher, and this is a preacher, and these kids sung, and all this stuff. She started crying. She began to tell me her whole life story. What a time she had in life, kid. She doesn't give up hope on everything, ever getting back home, ever anything. Amen. We began to talk to her. She broke down in that parking lot, Dean, and amen, she got right with God, Skippy. Praise be unto God. Listen to me. Amen. And just when she gave it all to God, then a fellow drove by that was a diesel mechanic and pulled into the parking lot. Can I get an amen? Got us the peace we needed, brought it to us, helped us get it going. Woo! Did you know this little woman drove 3 hours, come out there where we was at the next day and spent the day with my wife? Amen. Come on, are you listening to me? Coincidence, preacher. There ain't no such thing. Amen. There's no such thing as you being in Pleasant Chapel Church tonight as a coincidence. Right. Cody done went to testify about when God brought him here, he had him one assigned seat right here. Amen. Brother Rick Crow has been testifying for years how that he tried to go home, God parked his truck, and whenever he brought him in, you know where Rick had to sit? He had to sit up front, Cody. Right here. And you know why? It's because God loves you. Amen. You know why that God used you to go back, why He used that boy and a mama to chase him down? It's because God loved that waitress so much that His Son died for her. Amen. And God had a witness that knows about His Son. The Bible said a woman that had an issue of blood for 12 years and daily grew worse, spent all of her living on the doctors and everything else, but daily grew worse. But the Bible said that when she heard of Jesus, that she knew within herself that if she could only touch Him, she'd be made whole. Can I get an amen? Praise God, somebody was a witness, amen. Amen. I could tell you things where God's put me. And everybody said coincidence. I was sitting in my house, Dean, one Sunday morning, and I was waiting on them to call Rex Hall. We was going to have a baptizing. We'd been in the Bible. I think it was 8, 9 people got saved, and they wanted us to help with the baptizing. So I was waiting to go to church. I'm going to tell this and I'm going to hush. I've got stories after stories where God sent me places. And I was sitting there waiting on meeting time. Cody, when these people ride from over Comer's Rock, they start out at 9 o'clock in the morning, they ride 26 miles. Round trip, 26 miles. They get started early. That old white horse I had, Jeff, was standing out at the barn, and God was telling me, He said, do you trust me? And I sat there in the recliner, me and the Lord talking. I was ignoring my wife and kids and everybody. And I said, Lord, you know I trust you. God said, you catch that old white horse and go on. I said, Lord, you know I got to be at White Top to baptize these young. Lord, you know I'm supposed to be at this other place. God said, do you trust me? I said, Lord, you know I trust you. God said, there's somebody waiting on you. There's somebody in Comer's Rock, Virginia that needs you to pray with them. That's what He told me. And I said, Lord, I can't go. You know I can't go. I've got to be at White Top. And I was sitting there just talking back and forth to the Lord, and the Lord said, you better go. Well, it's getting along about meeting time, about 10, somewhere around there. And all at once the phone rang. It's Rick Saul. He said, preacher, don't worry about coming over today. He said, it's canceled, everybody's sick. There ain't going to be no baptizing, everybody's sick. And my heart just failed. And I thought, well, here I have, Billy Joe. Sat all morning and talked to God, and somebody's going to die without Jesus, and it's my heart. I walked to the door tip, and the tears run down my face, and that old white horse was standing at the gate looking at the door. And you know what my youngest said? She said, Dad, if God's telling you to go somewhere, she said, you get that horse and I'll make you dinner. I said, just fix me a snack. I ain't got time for dinner. Then I took off from my house at 10 o'clock, and I drove all the way to Comer's Rock, Virginia. Amen. There wasn't a horse inside. Amen. Me and that old horse, and whenever he was a riding good Billy Joe, Jeff, you know I'm telling you the truth. There wasn't a horse in this country, including the one I got now, would even stay inside of him. Never had him quit, Dave. I started out skipping down the road, and I crossed the top of the mountain. I met a boy coming up the road on my horse, and I stopped him, and I told him the story. I said, God sent me over here for somebody. Is it you? And he said, no, preacher, it ain't me, but there's more coming. I took off, and I went down the road, and I rode that old horse harder than I've ever rode him. Amen. He'd get tired, never quit before in his life, and he just quit, and he just stopped and dropped his head, and I let him catch his breath, and somebody ride out of the briar patch of the brush where they'd been up in the woods at resting. Amen. They'd ride out to me, and I'd get to tell them about Jesus. Never found one, amen. And I rode all day, sister, trying to catch them. Jeff, down there, you know, you come down that long valley over there at Comer's Rock, you can see the rock up on the mountain. Prettiest valley you've ever looked at. Hey, man, I could see him about a mile, 2 miles in front of me. All the horses. Whew. That old horse's name was Gabriel, amen. And I said, oh, boy, Gabriel, we're going to ride, son. Don't let me down. We're going to catch these people. We headed down that mountain, and he just couldn't do it. He'd stop. And, hey, man, every time he'd stop, he'd be somebody there in the woods somewhere. Tell them about Jesus. Oh, my God. Hey, man, I rode him just about to death, Jeff, and he just wore plumb out. And I was letting him walk, sort of catch his breath, and I said, now, mind you, this ain't no state road. This is a logging road. I looked down the road, Cody, and here comes this little old Geo tractor, amen. And this young man is driving. The little gray-haired woman is sitting in the pasture seat. You'll never forget it, Gail. That boy drove right up to my horse and stopped. And you know what he said to me then? He said, mister, you look like you're looking for somebody. I said, my Lord. So I began to tell him about God, telling me if I trusted him to get up and come over there, that somebody was looking to pray with. Amen. That boy went to crying. I mean, bawling, sobbing. And that little old gray-haired granny, I don't know if it was his grandma, his mama, I don't know who she was, but she lit up like you'd lit a candle. Amen. She knew that her prayers had been answered because God had sent a preacher. Amen. Can I get an amen? I began to tell him that I was looking for somebody, and did you know, amen, he drove right up to me. It's not a coincidence I'm in this church tonight. You say, preacher, you've lost your mind. All right, if I've lost my mind, I want to ask you a question tonight.
Blessing.
Has it been something touching your heart that you can't explain? Is your life starting to change and you're not satisfied with what you've been living in? Can I get an amen? Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, you're no different than anybody else that God's put in my life. Because I'm here to tell you that God has sent me to get you. Amen? Can I get an amen? God's just sending this brother in places that you never know, even using your wife and your child, amen, and letting you be a witness. Can I get an amen? You know what I heard in your voice when you began to talk? Amen, some excitement.
Yeah.
You know what that excitement was? The anointing of the Holy Ghost. Can I get an amen? A witness of something you saw that's very much real.
Amen.
Woo! Can I get an amen?
Amen. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
I could testify all night long about what God's let me witness. The things He's let me see, not the things that I've done, but the things He's let me witness. Amen. Praise God, Sister Skippy. It's been a good journey, ain't it? It ain't always been easy. It ain't always been easy, King. You remember that night God sent me over to Kingsport, amen? Never been to the church, didn't know what God said you're going to Kingsport. And amen, there's a fellow called me from Kingsport and said, we want you to come preach. Amen, I'm thinking, I don't have, how'd you get my phone number? I was on the tractor, putting up hay. I called Keith and I said, would you ride to Kingsport with me? I have no idea where we're going. God told me, go over there and preach. I have come to get you. That's what He told me. Huh? Over there when God was sending Moses back to Pharaoh. Amen. God said, I know the sorrows of I've heard the cries of my people. I know their sorrows. I know, amen, I know their troubles. And He sent Moses to get them. And I preached the message. God said, you tell them, you have come to get them. And I began to preach, and there was preachers that sat. Now, everybody don't know how to take me. There's preachers sitting on the bench, wasn't the kid. And they turned white as a sheet. I don't know if they thought I'd come to kill somebody or what. But I told them, I said, I've come to get you. That's what God said, I have come to get you. And they look at one another and they just white as a sheet. Amen, praise God. In a few minutes, ooh, a young lady stepped out of the back of the church. Tears are running down her when she fell on this altar to give her life to the Lord. There's another who came to give her life to the Lord. Amen. Keith got in the car and started down the road and he looked at me and he said, you know, you scared that bunch to death. He said, they didn't know what you'd come for. But praise God, let me tell you something. The same God that saved them people, amen, will save you tonight. Amen. Whatever you do, maybe you've been saved, you backslid on God. Maybe you just needed to hear that God's still working, amen. God's still searching. The Bible said, I want you to listen. Woo! I want you to listen. My God, there's a time in my life, the day I quit. Oh yeah, I thought I did. I quit. That old Bible that I started preaching out of, that old King James Bible they gave me when I got saved, amen, it's wore out. Duct tape together, amen, praise God. I throwed her down beside of my chair and I said, Lord, I'm done. I ain't going back. You know the Lord never said a word? No, I throwed her down. Wednesday night come. My wife said, are you going to church? I said, I'll quit. I ain't going there. They don't nobody want to listen. Are you listening to me? You'll get to this place. They don't nobody want to listen to what I've got to say. Nobody wants to live for God. I'm done. I'm quitting. They don't need me. I throwed it down. I still in my workplace. Melinda called for supper. She never said a word. I I don't think she believed a word of it, Keith. She picked supper, I went to the tables eating supper. And the more I chewed, the bigger it got. It was getting time to go to church. Now, people say coincidence. I believe it's been ordered from the foundation of the world. I'll never forget it, sister. I quit. Yeah. Stone cold give it up, Sally. And it was so late, Billy Joe, by that time, the only place I could go was New Home. So I got up, left my food on my plate, I started through the living room, and Melinda said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm getting my Bible." She said, "What do you need with your Bible?" I said, "I'm going to church." Got down there and I sat in the back of the church hoping nobody would notice that I was there. I sat there and I waited on the preachers to get there. Nobody showed up. And I'm thinking, where they at? Nobody. One of the deacons stood up and said, "We've got Brother Dave Lyalls here tonight." Said, "Would you come and preach for us?" And I'm saying, "Ain't there nobody in?" He said, "Come on, bro." And as I got up and started down the aisle, the old boy that's done quit on God, this is what he said. He said that the good shepherd left the 99 to fall. And he went out to find that one lost lamb. Send the Spirit to get him. And the Bible said when he found them, he picked them up, put them on his shoulder, and he carried them into the fold. Amen. And as I began to preach about the shepherd that come to get a lamb, there was a young lady in the back of the church started crying, "Step down the aisle, come to Jesus." And God said, "Where are you going to quit?" So you know what I've done ever since? I quit quitting. Amen? I quit. I'm like Nathan Rhodes. You know what Nathan said? Boy, I wish Nathan was here tonight. God healed his little boy with brain tumor. The doctors told him then that if he had the right tumor that they thought it was, that most children didn't live 13 months. Scared them to death. Had all the symptoms. It's terrible. Going down to Charlotte, they managed to do an MRI on his brain to see this tumor, amen. And my God, this church prayed with him. Right here in front of this church, amen, and they prayed with him. Come on!
Yeah, thank you, Lord. Amen.
Couldn't get an appointment in the doctor's office for months. I'm telling you what I've been witnessing. Months down the road. His mama sat over here and cried, sister. She said, "I'll never stand it. My heart's broke. I'm worrying myself to death." Said, "Pray that God would make a way that we could go sooner."
Yeah.
The next day she called me at home. She said, "You'll never guess what happened." I said, "What happened?" I just wait a minute. Look at it. She said, "The doctor's office called me." She said they've had an opening. We go next week. The first of next week's on a Thursday. She said on Monday we're going down and said we'll know in hand. By Wednesday of the next week, she brought news into this place that they couldn't find the tumor, that he was healed, amen. And I get an amen. And you know what? Woo, you know what Nathan told? Boy, me and Nathan had a meeting on the phone. You know what he said to me? He said, "I hope this don't sound bad at all." He said, "I don't mean this bad." But he said, "I just can't hardly wait to ask God for something else so he can do it too." Hey, are you with me? Yeah. That's the way I feel, Jim.
Yeah.
When God sends me somewhere, I'm thinking, send me somewhere else, Lord. Let me look at this. Let me see this thing again. I just want to see it again. And my wife told me, Jim, she said, "I'm not going back with you till you trade that truck." I said, "Why would you want to trade that truck?" She said, "The devil's going to kill us with that truck." I said, "It ain't the devil." Get this right. The devil didn't blow the turbo out twice. The devil didn't put the intersection there. The devil didn't put them that was in D there. If a devil I believe that truck that day had to run like a scalded dog to get there in a hurry, because that woman was fixing to go to the store or something. Huh? That's what I believe. She might have been planning a trip to Walmart and would have missed us. Did you know that? I had to be there at the right minute.
Amen.
People think I'm crazy. This sister right here is a witness today. You're a witness, sister. You remember back years ago when God sent me to your daddy's church, amen? All the way up in Pennsylvania. Peach Bottom, wasn't it? Wasn't it Peach Bottom we preached over? I've been on this thing a long time. And I asked God to send every preacher in Ashe County. Did you know you didn't know that? I prayed for days and said, Lord, please don't send me and leave my family. Send somebody else. Some of these other preachers can preach better than me. Send me. We was putting up some crown molding in a woman's house over here in Jefferson. And I was praying. God showed me that sister with pink sweater. And I like touring woman's house for I had to go out in the yard. Amen. God said, I'm going to show you who I'm sending you for. I saw her with a pink sweater, just short, and I'm sitting here looking at you and said, you know I'm telling you the truth. And God done exactly what He said. We got there that morning, praise God, there she was, sitting right on the right bench with a pink sweater on. I thought, look out now, this thing gonna get good.
Amen.
She come to the altar that morning. So when she come to the altar, I began to tell the church why I had come. And it was for her in the pink sweater. Well, we went to having church that night. Lord, there she was again, had on that pink sweater. You remember that? Oh, it got good that time. She went to swallow, come to the altar. When she got to testify, I'll never forget what she said. She said this morning, this sister got me with a hand and we come to the altar. She said, I didn't get what I needed. She said, tonight the hand of God led me to the altar. Amen. Give her life to Jesus. Praise God. Don't tell me God don't send you places. Amen. I believe He'll show you stuff before you ever get there. I believe that many times me and you've traveled many a road, haven't you? God's always been where He said He was when we got there. Amen. Are you listening to me? Testify. Amen. The Bible said He told them, said, send them back to my house, to my brethren, that they might testify to them. You know what He wanted them to tell them? Just how good it was in Abraham's bosom.
Amen.
How good it is to be a child of God. You say, preacher, you're crazy, you wouldn't tell you. My youngins have got stories. My oldest daughter was telling my grandkids about me backing that old white horse up in the bushes out yonder that time and jumping out on that old boy and preaching to him when he wouldn't come where I was at. I couldn't get into that person. I talked to everybody else, Jeff, on the wagon train. Kind of began to tell them, said, your papa is bad to hide in the bushes and jump out on people. And I said, you want to tell them youngers that? She said, you did. I said, well, I guess I did. But it worked. Every time I'd stop, I talked to everybody from the end to the front of that wagon train. Told them I'd come looking for somebody. Well, after a while, people got to listening. They said, there's a crazy preacher. I'm coming. You better get away from here. He's coming to tell you about Jesus. So this old boy kept us staying. I was on top of the ridge out there at Hartsog Ford, and I could see down to the river. Every time I'd move, he'd move. If I stopped, he'd stop. And I thought, now this ain't going to work. So I went around the curve, and I backed my horse up in the laurel bushes. Here he comes. He thought a tiger had him when I jumped down the road. And I told this young man, I said, listen, son, I ain't here to do you no harm. But I said, if you're the one that God wants me to talk to, and you're the one God's after, I don't want your blood on my hands. Amen. That's what I told him. Amen. He swore him down. He said, it ain't me. He said, it ain't me. That's what he said. And I said, okay, I just wanted to tell you. And since then, I've seen him in church. But we was riding that evening, and we was coming back in, Sally, and I was feeling pretty down. And I thought, Lord, did I miss it? Have I missed the one you want me to talk to? We was coming down about the last 4 or 5 miles of the ride. And all at once down this logging road come 2 horses. Right out with me. I couldn't tell you, Cody, what the one looked like. I can't tell you what he was riding. I don't know what kind of horse it was. I don't even know what the man looked like. But I'll never forget the other one. Mitchell Poe's on a big star walking horse, and this man, praise God, looked like a hell's angel on a walking horse. I have never seen such a man. He had his beard plaited and pigtails way down to here, arms, Lord, what arms. A black leather vest, I'll never forget it. Amen. Tattooed up his arms. I mean, a mean-looking fella, Skippy. And I thought to myself, I just swallowed hard. I ain't got good sense anyway, you know. I just swallowed hard, and I thought, Lord, if this is the fella that I'm going to have to talk to, you're going to have to give me something to say. And I rode up beside of him on that old white horse, Jeff, and I looked up at this man, and he looked down at me, pretty mean-looking fella, and I'm telling you, he looked like. And you know what come out of my mouth? It scared me. When I open my mouth, the words come out, where do you go to church? That's all I asked him. And I thought, he thinks I'm crazy. But when I opened my mouth, that's all I said, Keith. I looked at him, I said, where do you go to church? And immediately, that man went to crying. Crying like a little kid. The tears was running off his beard. He said, you're a preacher, aren't you? I said, yes, sir, and I've come to get somebody. And he went to crying, and he told me that he'd been hurt and out of church for 10 long years. And he'd been living for the world, amen. Look at your boss, my goodness. It's him, God touched him just by asking him where he went to church. You see, God knows the magic words. Amen. You notice what'll melt your heart. Something's been said tonight that's touched somebody's heart. I want you to listen to it. That man, are you listening? Got right with God. You say, preacher, did he get right with God? He got right with God. Amen. You see, they got to where they let me come and preach on Sunday morning in the wagon train. Wasn't heard of it, you know. That's the place I used to be drunk all the time. These people didn't do it. I went back the next morning, and I was going to surprise this mountain of a man. And I'm thinking, you wait till he sees me in the morning. I went out there, he never showed up, Skippy. So the boys that he'd been riding with, I asked him, I said, where in the world's that mountain of a man? They said, preacher, he come in here yesterday, loaded everything he had up, and he said, I'm going home to go to church in the morning. I don't know where he's at today. As far as I know, Dean, I've not seen him since. But you see, I watched God touch him that day. And I believe that my oldest daughter was with me. She's seen things that you would not believe what God's been doing. Amen. But I'm a witness to you. Amen. I may have to hide in the bushes and jump out on them a time or two. Praise God, I'm going to tell you right now, if you take it serious as I do, you better hide under the bush and jump out on them, because if that's the one you're supposed to talk to and you miss it, what if you hadn't went back? What if that young lady would have died without prayer? Did you know that blood would be on your hand? You see, there's something that's required of me and you. Are you listening? Say, that's just for preachers. No. If God's telling you to pray with somebody, it'll be on your hands. Are you listening to me? I ain't going to keep you all night. I could talk all night, Jeff Usher. We witnessed today, my brother. How many times God sent us to places, and there it was. And I mean, just, oh, there it is. God said, I told you, they're right here. Just tell them about me. Tell them what he's done for me. Amen. Amen. What's he done for you, Brian? He put your body back together, didn't he? Amen. Saved your soul, didn't he? Amen. Huh? Come on, praise God. That's right. What's he done for you? What have you witnessed? Boy, I get so excited, sister, telling people about what God has done for me. Amen. Amen. I just want to tell them what God's done for me. I don't know what he's done for you. But I know what he's done for me. I know what he's done for my children. I know what he's done for my daughters, and I know what he's going to do for my grandbabies.
Amen.
I know what he's going to do. He's going to prove to them just exactly what he's done for us. Amen. Come on. People need to know that there's hope in this lost and dying world. You look around, there's not much hope in this world. Nothing. You can't count on nothing in this world.
Amen.
Except for God Almighty.
Amen.
You listen and say, preacher, you're not. You know that. Me, like I said, we got witnesses all over the place after Keith. Me and Keith is in my barn, had the doors shut, it's getting cool. And listen, we just got done praying for this young man. Had him on our heart, got down in my barn and prayed for him. All at once, the doors was closed and the brakes on the car squeaked. Stopped right there in front of the barn. I walked up and slid the barn doors open and prayed God right there it stood. And I asked him, I said, what are you doing out here so late? Oh, he said, preacher said, I've been to Alcoholics Anonymous. He said, I'm not an alcoholic. He said, I'm a drug addict. He said, they're just playing me off, giving me money. And I said, I know a man.
Amen. Amen.
I said, I know a man that won't take advantage of you.
Amen.
I said, this man has become, whoo, look out, he's going about to fly. This man has become my best friend. I said, he's the one that I met the night I needed help when I was an alcoholic. Can I get an amen? You see, I've been to AA meetings. AA meetings didn't do me nothing no good except help me get by with the cops. Can I get an amen? Come on. I said, this man that I know has 100% rate of curing people.
Amen.
He never failed a one. Everyone that ever went to him changed or life got better. Are you listening to me? Had a new beginning, new life. I said, this man can set you up.
Amen. Amen.
You know what he said? Well, who is he? Tell me what's his name? I said, now wait a minute. If you're not serious, he can't help you. You've got to want this. But I said he's never turned anybody away that wanted this.
Amen.
He said, well, tell me who it is. I said, I can introduce you. But I said, he ain't going to help you if you ain't ready.
Amen.
So I just went off talking about a horse I had in the barn. Yeah. You know what he said? Wait a minute. He said, I don't want to talk about that horse. Who's this fella you know? I said, he's my best friend. I said, I can take you to him. He said, where's he at? I said, he's right here. I said, his name is Jesus. Amen. You know what that fella said to me? I got to go. I said, that's exactly what I thought, amen. You ain't as serious as you wanted to act like. I said, this man will help you.
Amen.
He'll help you if you want him.
Amen.
And he's my best friend. Sister Gail, he's the one that helped me. He said, I'll never leave you, never forsake you, and I'll go with you to the ends of this world. And I proved him, and praise God, sister, he's been there with me every step of the way. Are you listening to me? Every step of the way. We're witnesses, ain't we, Keith? Amen. We are witnesses. Witnesses to the Lord Jesus Christ. I get excited, I can't. Cody, when you went to tell man, I thought, boy, look out, I'm about to cry. Let me tell mine. Yeah, let me tell part of mine. I could talk for weeks. I'm going to try my best to hush. You see, it's not God's will that any should perish. It's not the will of God that our families die and go to hell. It's not my God's will that you miss heaven. Let me tell you what He done. Matter of fact, there was a search made and none was found worthy. Amen. But Jesus Christ came down, the Son of God, and died on the cross of Calvary for a wretch like me. We might have the right to a tree of life. I told the young man, God put me in the young man's life, we was working together, and he cussed me. Lord have mercy. told me what to tell God. Cussed me out a piece. And I told him, I said, well, he's heard every word you said. He looked at me funny. Then he went on to say that I wouldn't serve a God that would send a man to hell. And by this time, Gail, I'm getting fired up. If you go throwing off on the God I serve, and what I believe, I get a little upset.
Right.
So I had to go in the other room and pray. And I asked God, I said, if you don't help me, I'm going to hurt this boy's feelings. I went back and I told him, I said, if you die and go to hell, it's because you trampled down the blood, you went around the cross, and I said, Jesus Christ died for you. The best that God had in heaven died for you so you wouldn't have to go to heaven. And you know what he said? Raised right here in Lansing County. He took me to church all his life. He said, I've never heard that. He said, I've never heard that. Jerry, I'm going up. I could talk. Mitchell, if I can ever get Leah settled down one of these days. She told me, she said, I'm going to bring a book. You tell me the stories, I'll write them down. They ain't enough paper. They ain't enough paper. Amen. Are you listening? This ride we was talking about. This sister right here got saved at this ride. Life-changing experience. Right. Amen. Ain't been the same. There's something fixing to happen. Maybe it's our people, Sister Gail. It's her turn. Maybe it's their turn. Amen. Wouldn't it be a great place, amen, that God would search out one of our people and it'd be their turn? And again, amen. Come on. Woo! Say God, you can't go till God calls you.
Right.
Huh? It's like going to the doctor's office. You can't just bust in, they won't let you in. You got to wait till they call your name.
Amen.
You can't get right anytime you want to. It's when God calls. Amen. That's why it's so important to move when He calls, ain't it, brother? Amen. I'm glad I moved.
Amen.
David, I'm going to have to preach real quick.
You better go on. Turn it on, Lord. Touch it.
Over James chapter 4, verse 8.
Touch him, Lord.
I've looked at it I don't know how many times for this service, and
Help him, Lord.
I'm just going to have to let it out. But the other day, me and my son, we are close and we're not close. I don't know how to explain me and my son, but there's times he wants me until he gets me, and then he don't want nothing to do with me. And then there's times I'll try to go sit with him. He'll tell me to get out of the room, get off his bed and get out of his room. But my son loves me. And I know my son loves me, and I don't have to question if my son loves me or not. I'm his father, and you can just feel the love from that child right there to me. But there's times that he just upsets me so much on just telling me he don't want me. Now you think about what I just said. I went to sit on the bed with him one day. He's just sitting in his room, not even watching the TV that was on. He's looking out his window, his feet raised up on the windowsill, and I just went in there and laid down on the bed with him. And he just turned to me and told me to get out of his room. I said, get out of your room? He said, yeah. You want me out of your room? Yeah. I just sat there for a minute. He said, Dad, get out of my bed. You want me out of your bed? Yeah, I want you out of my bed. That's what my son said to me. And I know he's 2-year-old. I understand what's going on in his mind. But think about what I'm saying. When the Father comes to you, you got a choice. Amen. Just like that young'un had a choice.
Right. Amen.
He denied a moment of time with me. And you know what I done? I got up off his bed whenever he was sure he wanted me gone, and I left him.
Touch him.
Amen.
Now you think about what God does. He comes in a place where He can be comfortable with you, for you to spend some time with Him, and you've got that choice whether or not you're going to spend time with Him. And there's not but so many times a father's going to be able to spend time with his young'un and he's going to be gone.
Touch him, Lord.
You think of what I'm trying to say here.
Help him, Lord.
You've got an opportunity today to spend time with God while God is allowing you to have that time.
Yeah.
You give Him just a little bit longer, He's going to have to go back to work for somebody else. There's times I got to go to work and my son can't have nothing to do with me no more. But I thank God for the time that my son, now think of how this is. I'm present. This verse right here, it says, draw nigh to God and He will draw nigh to you.
That's right.
When I'm near my son and my son wants something to do with me, I'll love it. And I'll wrap my son up and love on my son.
Sure.
The same thing God will do for each and every person in here.
Amen.
God is waiting. He's sitting there just like I was on His bed. A place where He was comfortable. A place where He was spending time by Himself doing whatever He wanted to do. He could have been watching TV, playing with His toys, but He was just sitting there, enjoying Himself.
Yeah.
His Father came in unto Him at that point in time to give Him an opportunity to spend time with Him. What are you doing with your opportunity today? Where are you at today with God? Are you trying to draw nigh to Him? Or are you going to do like my son, telling him to get out of your room? Get off the bed. And I understand my son. And that's not the point that he don't want nothing to do with me. But that's what you're telling God tonight.
Touching it.
Everybody's waiting for this ride to come because there's so much power seen in the preaching and the fellowship that goes on in this ride, and I've got to witness it. I just had started this church when I got to witness it, and it's been killing me that you ain't been able to have it. I ain't missing this. I'm taking Friday off and I'm going down there. I ain't missing this ride. I want to spend as much time there as I can. For one, I need fellowship with David, someone that I trust that walks with God, and the people that come along with him. I'm wanting to understand more of what I should be doing, and one way I learn that is by listening to David, talking about all these things he just talked about tonight. This is me drawing nigh to God this weekend.
Bless you, Lord.
This is my choice to draw nigh to God, and in fellowship with people that I trust in and that are walking the same way I'm trying to walk. What are you doing this weekend?
Bless you, Lord.
How many of you is going to just go sit at home?
Bless you, Lord.
Turn the TV on again. And I'm guilty of it myself, turning that TV on and get caught up in it, and the Word, the witness that I could have had that night, studying up something, being ready for something for the next day, and I chose to let it go. And that second part of that verse, it talks about cleanse your hands.
Yeah.
Who all's cleansing your hands right now? Getting prepared for this ride. Do you want to come to this ride so you can mock the ride? Or are you coming to this ride so you can just act like you got something going in your life? Or are you the one putting on the show at this ride? Now I'm going to tell you something about my wife in this ride. When we went to Silas Creek, my wife had the most disgusting look on her face sitting in that church house. She did not want nothing to do with God. And it tore me up. Now, I wasn't right with God, but I knew who He was, knew how I was supposed to act. I was taught religion, I guess, in one way. I understood what I was supposed to be. And then, for the most part, I enjoyed church. My wife hated it. I don't know how she went that long with me to church. But we finally got out of church for 2 years, and I started begging God to get us back in church.
Yeah.
I was afraid to go without my wife because I didn't know where my wife would end up if I'd done that. God gave my wife a dream that He's going to take our youngins away from us. That God is into a church, not into the right church. I don't know how long we was in that church, but my wife was enjoying the people of that church. And then I came to this church and got right with God. Short period of time later, from August 18th to Labor Day, for the ride, my wife wouldn't come to this church. She didn't want nothing to do with it. We've been here once before, or right when we got out of church, we tried coming up here. It didn't work out for us. It wasn't time. She didn't want nothing to do with this church, but she decided to go to this ride. This ride ain't nothing to do with a church house. It's the church that's at this ride. This church that was at the ride was able to witness to my wife. And my wife got to find God at this ride. My wife is sitting in the church house. My wife is happy to sit in the church house. I've not heard my wife one time tell me she wanted to stay at home while I took the kids to church. When her granny was living with us, there wasn't a single time my wife didn't wish she could come. I didn't have that before that ride. This ride might be a joke to anybody in this church or in the community or wherever they're coming from. I don't know what people are going to this ride for, but this ride means something to me. This ride is where my other half of me got right with God. I don't know what you got in your life or who you can bring, but if there's anybody that you can get talked into coming to this ride, be a praying, cleanse your hands and get ready for this. And even if you ain't going to the ride, cleanse your hands and draw nigh to God.
Amen.
The rest of that verse says, cleanse ye hands, ye sinner, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. When you get your heart right, there's several times I thought I was right with God, trying to live right, doing all this stuff, but one thing was different from then and now. Is now my heart's pure. I still fail on occasion, but it don't take me a week to figure out what I've done wrong and get it back out of my life. God has moved into my heart. I don't have to worry if I'm right or not. Because even in times of doubt, God proves me. Whenever I was trying to denounce my call to preach, after I announced my call to preach, those were the times that He allowed me to preach. Just like you was talking a minute ago. I was trying to quit. Those were the days He put me up here. At one day I was sitting over here, and before I knew it, I was already up here. I didn't even mean to be up here. At another time, I didn't know I was up here until I put my son down. He had come up here, and I picked him up. I did not know he was up here until I put him down. I didn't know I was up here until I put my son down. Where's your hearts tonight? Is your heart pure? Is God able to use you just like He's able to use my wife? My wife tried everything that she could to not go back in that store. You think about being in a parking lot with almost a 3-year-old boy, and you're going to allow him to use the bathroom out there between the car doors or something. But my wife ain't never done that. Ever. And she was trying her best to do that night. And to beat it all, I hate pizza. I hate Pizza Hut. We're sick of everything else in this county to eat at. And for some reason, chose Pizza Hut that night. The one place that I could care less to ever step foot into, we chose to go to it that night. Now, if you don't think that one little thing in your life, doing it or not doing it, would make a difference, my wife didn't have to go to that ride. This has been 3 years now that my wife's been right. I hit my 3 years August 18th. My dad begged me, and I don't know exactly if he did it every night that week of revival. I did not want to come to this church. I already know David. I ain't want nothing to do with David. And yet, I chose to shut my dad up and come to this church. That's what it took to get me here. And God knew it. Think about that. I tried everything I could all week not to be here. And on a Friday night, God made it work for me to be here, left me a seat up here. And all David said is, you think you're right and going to heaven, and you ain't turned from your ways. And that tore me up. Spent all night in the bar, drinking, smoking pot. Went to work on an hour of sleep. Don't know how I was making it, doing everything I just done. Up for 2 whole days and partied all night, and then come to revival and get right. I was wide awake. I didn't need nothing else after that. These people doing meth. They say it makes you wide awake as soon as you smoke it or snort it. I didn't have to do meth to feel wide awake that night.
Amen.
When God got a hold of me, He took everything from me. I tried twice to slip back into it, and He took gave us 2 miscarriages to show me that I can't step back in this world. And I used that to try to not announce a call to preach, that I just done dope again. There ain't no way God would use me. I'm failing in something that I was sure that I'd never step back into. But God done it for a reason, to show me I can't step back in this world. It cost me too much. Until it costs you something,
Amen.
what are you going to do with it?
Right. Amen.
I was telling Dad that I was going to start Rick's diet and try to lose some weight. Dad says, you can't do it. Oh, why is that? He said, because until something happens in your life that makes you want to do it, you'll never do it.
Amen.
Now you think, Rick's called me I think 2 or 3 times since I've been in this church. And I love it when Rick calls me. But I've been here 3 years, 3 times he's called me. And then he's telling me about this diet. Dad says that to me on the same night that I'm preaching basically the same message, and it just brought to my mind. Now you talk about being preordained, predestined for things. Now how does God work in your life? Are you one that's just going to come in, make a mockery of our church, and run right back out the door? Or are you going to be someone that finally gets things right in your life, get things serious, and realize that everything you do is life or death?
Amen.
Every person you come in contact with, you're leaving it on a life or death situation. And when it deals with other people, that blood's going to be on your hands.
Right.
I never thought much about it until I read it, I guess it's probably about 2 months ago. I read through the Bible where when God tells you to do something and you don't do it, that blood will be on your hands. And that terrified me. Scared me to death. But you know, if God don't tell me to go pray with the girl at Pizza Hut, I can't go pray with her. I can't do nothing about it. I'd messed everything up if I would have went and done it. You talk about predestined. Now people get mad over predestination. But I believe every moment of my life was worked out just for me to be a preacher one day. Nobody's ever liked me. Even me drinking and doing dope with these people, I never fit in with them. Me and Dad's talked about that several times. Never did fit in with the world, even when I was doing everything they done. Never fit into it. Everything that I almost lost my life doing, I never did lose my life. God had to hold me just in the right spot, so I didn't. If anybody knows where Junk Mountain is, the curve right there in Junk Mountain, before you go up the dirt road, go on around that curve. I was doing 90 mile an hour around that curve. Smacked the guardrail, and the guardrail's still there. My den, everything's still there. Every time I go up through there, I look at it and remember what happened. Of all the places on Horse Creek that there's not a guardrail, I picked the one that did to wreck my car in. And if you know what's across that guardrail down the other side was nothing but death. And you know, after I wrecked my car, I got out just a cussing. There wasn't a bit of gratefulness in me. What are you doing tonight? Something happening in your life where God truly protected you, and are you cussing Him for it? I didn't say God cuss you or anything like that, but I cussed God because He protected me, and all I was worried about was the car. Not taking the Lord's name in vain, not taking the Holy Spirit's name lightly. What are you doing tonight? Is this ride going to be something that you take lightly? This is something I'm serious about. I was tickled to death when David finally got up and said he's having it. I was getting nervous, but I was looking forward to it this year. I'm not going to take this lightly, and I hope nobody else takes it lightly. I'm going to try something that I ain't never done. That's ride a horse from Alan's house all the way to David's house. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I'm looking forward to it. If I go to work Monday and I can't sit down, can't walk, I don't care. I've wanted to ride a horse all my life. I've rode one. And that horse went crazy on me when it stepped on an electric fence, and that thing reared up and took off. And it didn't spook me from doing this, so I'm looking forward to riding a horse this weekend. And I hope it works out. And I know that God can take care of things to get me through this. Even if I got to get off and walk this horse, I'm doing this. I'm looking forward to it. Dad talked about how horses will buck you off, get you hurt, and you got to work. I'm going to trust God.
Amen.
I'm going to trust Him the whole way. As soon as I get on that horse, I'm going to be prayed up.
Amen.
And the whole ride, I hope I'm talking with God and Alan. So that's going to be a long walk with a horse. But I'm looking forward to this ride, and I hope everybody else is.
Amen.
Draw nigh to God, and He'll draw. It says will draw nigh to you. It don't say draw nigh to him and you got a dope addict father that won't have nothing to do with you. You look at all these families where these kids are trying their best to be a part of their parents' life. All their parents want to do is do dope or go drink or go out and party. I got a father that when I want him, he sits right there and holds me.
Amen.
When I do something wrong, he's right there to whoop me. Every time. Not sometime, every time. And I thank God for it. That's all I got to say. I hope that helps somebody.
Bless him, Lord.
But draw nigh to him.
Amen.
And he will draw nigh to you.
Yep. Amen.
If you're stumbling and trying your best to get things right with God, you don't have to try. The more I tried, the worse I done.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
And it happened every time. The more I tried to do right, the worse I was. Just like quitting smoking. I've tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. Got sick of trying. I was starting to wonder if I was ever just going to just quit quitting, like David's talking about, just quit quitting. And finally, God done something to get my attention. Me and David prayed over it, and I've yet to think about having a cigarette. I've yet to have a craving to make me want a cigarette.
Amen.
Dipping, cigars, everything that I've done, I don't want none of it. The drugs of this world, the alcohol of this world, I did not quit them. God took them from me whenever I was allowing Him to do that for me. Draw nigh to Him. That's all you have to do. And that night that I got right, I didn't come here to get right. God brought me here knowing that this is the moment it was going to take. You have one time that He's going to call you. I don't know of all the other times He ever called me. I believe I was trying to call Him, and it didn't work. The night that He called me and showed me heaven and hell and showed me the glory of God, just in a moment, when I realized that I didn't turn from the things I've always done, and I thought I was going. That's what got it right there. Just like David talking about something so simple, where you go to church. It took something like that. Just you ain't turned from your ways. That's all it took for me. God was able to open my eyes and take that veil off from my eyes. That's all I got to say.
Bless you.
Y'all pray for this ride. It means a lot to me.
Alex James.
I guess everybody.
Get you a song, let's finish it.
There we go.
Well, before we sang, we got sung 431, because I said here a while ago, I thought David was about done, but we started looking at this book and it fell up, and when I had a bit, but every verse that I can remember in this song, is what God wants.
You got it, sir.
I'll know what you.
431.
Sing it like to me.
I'll be